Hi guys, here's the second video. Should cover the next 5 slides that we've got here. This is doing the law of cosines. You have two sides and an included angle. They want to know what is B. So we need the third side. We've got one angle. Can't get another angle because we only have one. So 180 minus 44, that's great. We could get how it's split, but we couldn't get just the one. So you do have two sides though, and this always uses the 3. You always have to use the 3. B squared equals A squared plus C squared. 2AC cosine B. If you're trying to remember how the small b is going to match the large B of the angle at the end, you will have to use all 3, A squared, B squared, and C squared of the Pythagorean stuff to make it work. So, B squared, that's not what we don't know, equals A squared, which is 22 squared, plus 10 squared, which is 100, minus 2 times 22 times 10, and then the cosine of 44. So, 22 squared, if you want to figure it out so that as we go, okay, we have 22 squared, so 22 squared is 484. Okay, so you have 484 plus the 10 squared, which is 100, minus, and you're going to have that exactly the way you've got. I would probably do the cosine 44 first, and then multiply by 10 by 22, which is easy enough. Cosine of 44. Cosine of 44. And I have switched that over into degrees, but just to double check, it's at the bottom, degrees. All right, cosine 44 times 10 times 2 times 22. We get 316.5. So that's what you get right here. 316.5. So B squared is going to equal, okay, get my Desmos calculator back up. You've got 484 plus 100 minus that 316.5. Whoops. You don't want to do that. 267.5. That is what the answer equals right there. B squared is 267.5. So when you take a square root of that, both sides, to get your B, you will get, not the one I wanted to go to, so you take a square root, whoops, take a square root of that 267.5. Whoops, I keep doing that. Don't hit the equal sign, it's already there. So you get 16.4, which is exactly what they did, but that's how they got it. B is about 16.4. And that's how they did it. So it's not too tough. You just have to follow your formula. Find the measure of R. Okay. So we've got all 3 sides right here. And R's opposite is the 23. So you're going to have 23 squared equals Q squared, which is 37 squared, plus 18 squared, minus 2 times 37 times 18, matches right back up here, with the cosine of R. That's your unknown. So, 23 squared, I'm going to do this on a calculator off the form because it's just going to be faster than going back and forth. 23 squared is 529. So you got 529 equals 37 squared, 1369, plus 18 squared is 324, minus 2 times 37 times 18 is 1332 cosine of r. Okay, so what you're going to have to do first is get everything combined together here. This 529 is going to equal 1369 plus 324 is 1693 minus 1332 cosine of r. Okay, what we've got to do is combine our numbers here. So subtract 1693 from that 529, and you get negative 1164 equals negative 1332 cosine of r. To get that by itself, you will divide by negative 1332, and so that your cosine of r will equal negative 1174 divided by negative 1332. You get 0.8738 blah blah blah, 0.8739 actually, and it kept going on. That is the cosine. What you're going to do is you're going to put in the cosine of the negative 1, which is your second when you're doing it in the calculator, of that 0.8739 will give you the angle measure of r. So second cosine of that gives you that the angle r is about 29.1 degrees. And that's how you get that answer. Okay, this one is filled in. I wanted to leave it so that you had it to look back through on your slides like I did the earlier ones. Ms. Jenkins is buying some property that is shaped like quadrilateral ABCD. Find the perimeter of the property. So you've got a right triangle right here. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. And that's what you set up here. 180 squared plus 240 squared equals this BD squared. Okay? So that's 90,000 is BD squared. When you take a square root of both sides, BD will equal 300. So this is right here is 300 feet. Now, that doesn't help you much in terms of your perimeter, but it will help you get this final side over here. Your law of cosines, CD squared equals BC squared plus BD squared minus 2BCBD, and the cosine of CBD, which is 60 degrees. So 200 squared plus 300 squared, that is 40,000 and 90,000, which gives you 130,000, minus this 120,000 cosine of 60. So when you take a square root of both sides, excuse me, you end up that CD is about 264.6. So if you add up all four sides, which is what you do here, you will get about 884.6 feet. So these problems are on your notes check quiz, only they're not appearing here. Let me see if they were, because I know I had them before. and we can't display the image. Anyway, there are two problems. There is a slide on your notes in the course that does have two problems on it, and those are the problems that I'm expecting to see on your notes quiz. So, y'all take care.